So off we go to make our centers. I was a little delayed on this video because I realized I hadn't written down a pattern if you needed to use 11s. So we're going to start with what I would suggest, which is to use the 15s. And if you have any access to those or any way you got those, definitely, because you'll get more of a fluff factor for sure. We can put more tendrils in there if we use 15s. So we're going to give that a try. And you can do it in one color if you want to. I do it with the 2 right here. I have a little center bit right in the middle. And then I'm going to pinch around to make sort of a hard center. And then we're going to have fluffy bits around it. So you can do a lighter color. I'm actually going to do a darker color. I'm going to go a little off script, going a little rogue on here. I'm going to do a darker color on the inside than the one we're about to do just for the heck of it. I just want to see. Why not? But normally, I'll be honest, I'd probably do a lighter one in there. And then I did some color-lined yellows here. And this is I don't even remember what that middle one is. I made that a while ago. I can't see right now. Oh, it looks just like an eggshell, an opaque, glossy eggshell. Now, I do like to kind of, if I'm doing a matte petal, I do like to do sort of a shiny, center just to have that contrast. Absolutely your own style, you choose. So I did make one last night. This was just my quick prototype of 1 out of 11. So we'll be making one of these too. It can get pretty fluffy also, but there's definitely sort of this fineness to the 15s. But I gotta be honest, the 11s didn't look too bad. Again, I did that center in a lighter. It's an alabaster eggshell pearl bead, pearl finish bead with a yellow color-lined one that I have no clue what it was. It was just apparently sitting on my shelf in this little, I must have dumped it out of something and forgot to put it back. But it came out well, and I like the color. It's a very light yellow color-lined. So anyway, we're going to be making the 15 one first, and then we will move into the 11 one in case you don't have 15s handy or you just want to make ones out of 11s. I don't know. So what I would recommend with this, I'm going to give you the bead counts, and I will scan my notebook or write it out nicer to give you guys some sort of paper copy of this, or not paper, but, some sort of hard copy or electronic copy. Anyway, written out copy. You know what I'm trying to say, hopefully. So, because I know this one's going to get a little bit tough. We definitely do more. I guess they're called fringe. I called them all kinds of weird things before I started being part of the Facebook group. And so I think it's a fringe is the word we're looking for. Now, I would say let's use a 28. I was looking all over for my just simple gold 28 because I'm going to use 2 of these colors. I'm going to make the final decision in a moment. And I, for the life of me, cannot find my gold colored. I have every other color. Look, I even have 2 hot pink 28s. Hot pink, but I can't find gold. I've looked everywhere. I have this champagne gold, which I like. In fact, it's what I used for that 11 one I just showed you. But it's a very stiff wire, so it's not always comfortable to use. But I might end up using it. I might end up using that. Stiff is good too because it holds its shape very well. This pearl wire is my favorite. This pearl silver. I use this probably as much as I use everything else combined in 24. It does have a slight coating on it. And if you get an old batch, the coating can come off. Don't judge it on that. 8 out of 10 of them don't have the coating come off easily. But I have had that happen on certain batches. But I'm not sure I want to go with this because I'm not sure I like to do the fringe with a little bit of coating on it. But I might. Got every other color. Burgundy, olive, plain silver, which might be a way to go. And yet cannot find my coral. Can't find, dang it, my just plain gold is what I wanted. I do have, that won't work. Antique bronze, that's too dark. Okay. I probably have 100 colors right here. Well, not 100 colors. Rose gold, probably 30 colors, but 100 reels of it. And I cannot find the gold. Go figure. Okay, so we're going to roll with one of these colors. So you're probably going to need about 6 feet. The thing with fringe, I got rogue petals just coming off from another project, just coming out of the blue, just falling out of the sky. I would say with this, you're probably going to need about 6 feet of wire. Now, 6 feet is so ungainly. So what I do with fringe is I just if I know I'm going to do a lot of it, I know for sure I'm going to be doing with poppies. Well, poppies I do twists, not fringe. Fringe is definitely easier than the twisting, right? Ugh. I literally had to callus the shape of an 11 bead on this. I'm not even kidding. I am not even kidding. On the side of this from spinning for one of my poppies when I was trying to do so much center stuff. I think I did like 60 in the center. Anyhow, the fringe is a lot easier because you just go up and through and then pull it tight and you're good to go. I used to be really uptight about it, and I wanted to make sure that the top bead, we don't have to worry about that here. So if you watch one of my previous videos where I get all weird about that, we're not going to get weird about that today. We're going to do the fast and easy because it looks just as good in this particular scenario. So, but the thing is, you have to cut the wire, right? You can't preload wire on this. You have to have free floating wire, whatever the heck that means. Free floating wire. What the heck is that? So we have to cut. So altogether for this, you're going to need probably about 6 feet of wire, but I would not just cut a 6 feet long, or it's just a pain in the neck. So what I do is I just cut like maybe 3, 4 feet, 5 feet at a time, load that up, and then the more I need, you can make as many, you can just keep making segments. But the thing is, you don't want to have too many separate units because then you get a lot of wire wrappage and it starts to get a really clunky stem. So, just do like maybe 3 or 4 feet at a time as needed, and if you're in the middle of a unit, so be it. You're going to wrap the other one up next to it anyway. So, you'll continue the next unit where that one left off. So, I was trying to think what would go well. So, play with your colors. Look and see what makes sense to you. How much I like a decent contrast with mine. Like if I'm going to do something that's like this one, a super pastel, then I like a brighter yellow, even if it's not super darker, but it's brighter, right? I like to have a contrast however I'm doing it. If I have, say, I don't know, let me grab one of my darker peonies. I don't really make dark peonies, but relatively speaking. Oh gosh, those are the clunkers, the huge ones. So like I have this one in this style, right? And so this, and then I have this sort of like really soft kind of dusty pink with like a mustard and a yellow in the inside. So, again, kind of, this is a shiny one with a matte finish on the inside. And this one actually did go darker in the center. So I take that back. I guess I do that once in a while. So that's cool. Because we're going to do that today where I'm going to do a darker little bit in the middle. And then this one, you can't really see it. This one, with the creamy color ivory, and then I did a darker mustard with a garnet in the center of it. So you can go whatever the heck you want to. I did a garnet bead in the center, so I don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the light or darker. I guess that was just my mood. So take your petals, the color you chose, and just put a few in your hands, and just like get them going, put them, doesn't matter which size, we're just going for the color, and see which colors you like to go. Like do a little comparison. I've already done, hot pink. No, probably not. But isn't that an awesome, like, neon pink? Don't you just love beads? I mean, sometimes I just make a project so I can use a certain color. Oh, and by the way, look, don't feel bad if you got too cupped. Here's actually when I was making the prototype for this one, or I was making the flowers for this one. I did make this one too. The reason I didn't like it actually wasn't the cupping. It was because I forgot to reverse wrap it. So that happens all the time. So here's one. I'll use it for something else, but I'm just not going to use it where it's open. I'll use it for like part of a young flower. You can always save these things. But this one was a small one this was supposed to be an inner bead, and I just spaced out on the reverse wrapping. And so my seam was too obvious. But so what, The thing is also, if that happened or you don't like reverse wrapping, it's not the end of the world because the middles are so fluffy that they really will conceal most of the seams anyway. And I actually forgot this was a prototype, so some of these I do have the seams showing because I changed that after the fact, like I said in the last video, and even the lacing I did on the inside instead of the outside because it was the prototype. And then I said, gonna change it. Okay, so, let's get going. I want to keep each one under half hour so I don't make this video editor explode. Okay, so I'm going to try. You can always change your wire. There's some preloaded 15s on here from another time. So I'm going to compare them and look, and I'm going to say, okay, I think on this one, because it's kind of darker pink, I actually want to go like this, like really kind of light sort of cream. It's actually my favorite color-lined bead, especially in 11s. It's a cream color lined. And I actually make all of my Southern Magnolias out of this because it ends up looking very off-white ivory when it's on the wire if you use a pearl silver wire. So this is it in 15s. Love it. Got it from General Bead. Big old bag of it, ready to go. Okay, so I think I'm going to go lighter with this and actually go cream, which is kind of weird because it's not yellow or green, but I like the cream. So I'm going cream. And then I think what I'm going to do is stick this guy in the middle. This is a silver-lined matte, gold silver-lined matte, and stick that in the middle and then have it be, that's going to be my decision on that one. I was pondering doing this brighter yellow, but which is this is a Ceylon Peach Cobbler, and I actually love, for my inside bits, I normally use the matte transparent peach cobbler a lot. So this is an option too, but I don't know why. I'm just feeling like I want to go kind of ivory on it. Might be wishy-washy. I might regret it, and then I'll make a different one. So be it. So let's go with that one. Let's own it. Once you make that decision, just own it. But if you don't like it, remember, you can just redo it. At the end of the day is, just redo it. So this is a good time because we're doing the 15s to bring out our Ritter spinners. Love my Ritter spinners. Just love them, love them, love them. Spin, spin, spin. Let's have a Ritter spinner racer. Which one wins? I do adapt them a little bit with, just because my fingers are very smooth. That sounds weird. So I do put a little bit of floral tape up top, which I actually like that better than even if they had texture up there. I would still probably put on there. Because then I can spin super fast. Just a little bit of floral tape right on top. I mean, you got to stop these things or they'll keep going. Okay, now I'm going to do for that center bit, and you can choose again if you want to just do one color, that's fine. If you want to do more of the center color, I mean, that particularly might not be my thing, but hey, spread your wings. So I'm going to put a little bit of these in here. For the 15s, I always use my Ritter spinners, and I don't know why I dumped that much in there, because I got distracted. Okay, and then I am going to try my Champagne Gold 28. It's just so stiff, it's like coily, it's funny how some wires just have a lot to say for themselves. And I'm going to pull out about, I don't know, maybe 4 feet or so. I know I'm going to have to get another unit going too, but I want to try to just do it in 2. Basically, I'm going to be ending up doing, I didn't count it because I changed it last night, even for the 15s. 8, 12, 20, 72 fringes. So I'm going to try to get it done in 2 wire pulls, 2 free cuts of wire, 2 cuts of wire. That way I have less. But if you're doing 3 or 4, so what? So what? If you find it too ungainly to deal with it, to deal with a long length of wire, then don't. Cut it however you want to. It is only 28, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be doing 8 for my little center piece, the little contrasting bit in the middle, and it's about a 1/4 inch. What I like to do, though, is once I assess what's going on with that particular bead for 1/4 inch, I do it by bead counts. So I do it about 1/4 inch. And the fact that beads are irregular size sometimes is actually a good thing. Because then if I'm going by count, there's a little bit of variability in length, and that's cool, as opposed to measuring them meticulously. So in this one, it's about 6 beads. Now, I might want it to be a little bit longer, so I might up it a bead. I'm going to do it by 7 beads. So maybe you want to do it even a little bit longer than 1/4 inch, which would be maybe 5/16. Yes, I literally do that. But again, you can just do it by bead count. So I'm doing 7 little 15s and, pulling it through and then keeping the one out, as I'm sure y'all know how to do. Keeping the one little, God, this is going to be fun doing a film of 15s. Keeping the one little top guy out, pulling it tight, pull both sides, get tight on there, nice and tight, and then make a crease. Get that guy creasy so that, it made me think of Grease and Olivia Newton-John, R.I.P. So, yeah. Anyhow, let's dedicate this this peony to Olivia Newton-John. Now, okay, so Sandy. So I'm going to do about 8 of these. Not about. I'm going to do 8 of these. With 7 on each. And this is going to be my middle bits. And so I'm pulling, so that's 5. I got distracted by Olivia Newton-John. And then 7. Okay, then take your 7 beads, and I'm sure you know how to do a fringe. Pull them all the way down to the end, which is why having more wire is not always a good thing. In fact, I wish I'd cut less out. I get it down close to where I want it to be. Pull the one up. Let it kind of dangle to the end. Yeah, I wish I'd cut this wire a little bit shorter. It's like at some point it levels out. The benefit of not having to cut it. See, I'm trying to keep it in the screen. Under the camera here. Get that loaded in. Pull it through. And then pull it through. I'm holding my hands out like this. I'm pulling it through the other side. Holding my hands like this to keep it as untangled as possible. Which is another reason why you might not want to do like 4 or 5 feet at a time. And that's okay. You don't need to know the exact amount. Because again, you can just, if you're in the middle of a particular size, you just start up again. Okay, so we're going to do 8 of these, and I'm going to pause so you don't have to watch it. Okay, so I'm the fastest beater ever, like lightning. Not really, actually. Now, we have 8 little guys right there, and now I'm going to do everything else. Everything else is going to be in whatever color you choose everything else to be in, the main color. I feel like now I should have done even more of a contrast. I kind of liked how that garnet looked with that mustard. So do whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm going to dump some of this in here. This, again, more 15s. This is a cream, color-lined cream. Like that one a lot. Scoot you over there. Okay, so now our next segment is going to be 12 that are about half an inch long. And I'm saying about because, honestly, you can round up a little bit. Even throw an extra bead on there. And I put approximately 12 beads. Well, let's see. So if I put 12 beads on here, let's see what... I'm actually curious. So there's 12 beads. Yep, that's 13 beads. There's 12 beads. Let's see what that actually is. That is exactly half an inch. Like down to the millimeter. So I'm going to stick with that for now. So I'm going to do 12 bead / 1/2 inch. And again, doing the same thing, keeping the one out, pulling the other bits down, shoving them through here. And also, if you feel like the wires cut it too long and you're not too worried about, some wire wasted, just chop it off. I have to chop it off the end of it every so often anyway, because I use my fingernails a lot to pull it, so it gets really kinked. So now that I got that set through, I'm going to hold on to it. See, this champagne gold has a mind of its own, man. It's telling me, you're not going to be the boss of me. And what am I going to say? Yeah, yep, I am. Or I'm going to say maybe not, actually, this time. Okay. Yeah, that thing wants to go its own way. Okay, pulling it down. Actually, I'm glad I'm using this champagne. It actually works better for this anyway. I was thinking, holy cow. I was thinking possibly that I was going to use a brighter yellow here. Now, this is a little bit more of a differential than I was looking for, and I'm wondering if, as can happen, that's what I wrote so I'm going to stick with it. That's what I wrote in my notebook. Sometimes I get kind of careless with the notebook thing. So, fringe is a lot easier, for me at least, and I'm sure for most people, than the twisting. Like for the poppy, where you just want the one bead on a stalk. I used to call it, beads on a stalk, basically. Because you don't have to do all that twisting, which is nice. You just pull it through. Which begs the question, of course, then why don't we use it for poppies or things like that? But there's just something sort of magical about that, like one bead sitting on top of the wire, as it gets pulled out. Now, sometimes you might get tighter beads. And are like, no, I don't want to be shoved through. And that can happen. Like this one right now is a tight hole. And so you know what I do to those? I don't want to redo the whole thing. You can redo the whole thing. Or you can see if you can find your needle nose pliers. Spaghetti-O. Those seems to... Oh, I know where they are. Well, I'm going to redo the whole thing then. I was going to say, or you can just chop them off. Why would I not have more needle nose pliers? this is the way I get rid of a defective bead in the middle of a chain. Here we could just pull it off, actually. The reason that I don't want to do this on this one, which is to break the bead on the wire, is because once in a while, especially on a finer gauge wire, you might possibly actually bust through the wire. So you have to be real careful doing that. So with this one, because it's easy enough to pull it off and start again, I'm just going to do that. I'll make sure I got them all off, though. I did not. Okay, so I have 5 down here. I'm going to take 5 off up here. You're getting to see some quality troubleshooting in real time. Okay, so back to the matter at hand. Because, like I said, sometimes you can have those small hole ones where you just can't get the 28 through there. Luckily, that doesn't happen that often if you're using 15s. If you go smaller than that, then no guarantee. For the 28, that should be good. So we're going to shove everything through there. Everything is going well. There we go. Back to the happy times. And the good news, too, if you are using a shinier finish, let me pull this one tight, then it's easy to make the fringes because the shiny finish pulls through nice and clean and fast. Hold the bottom, pinch the bottom, and then do it. Nice hard tug, and then always like make that little, don't make that sound, but well, you can if you want to. I didn't trademark it or anything. But pull this up so that you get that nice straight line across here. So you're going to do 12 of those, which again, I will relieve you of watching in just a moment as we do one more, see what happens. Okay, there's 6, and then there's 6 more. 6 plus 6 is in fact 12. You'd be surprised for someone who teaches math. I sometimes forget how to add. Don't laugh. There's not actually that much adding at certain levels of math, believe it or not. So I lost my way. Okay, there we go. Pull this one through. I need to practice my adding. There we go. Okay, so you're going to do 12 of that size. And there is going to be a differentiation here. It might be more than I'm hoping for, but I think I must have had a method to the madness on that one. So we're going to hope that when I put it together, it makes more sense than it does to me right now. So I'm going to pause again and get these ready for you. Okay, teaching moment. So I did have one. This bead just does not want to open up. I'm getting worried it's going to be a bit of a pattern. So I take the very far end of the needle nose pliers and I just, as gently as possible, break that thing. And this is pretty hardy wire, so it goes okay. Now, yeah, that means I'm going to be 1 bead short, but that's okay. That really is okay. Everything's not going to be even anyway based on the way things get wrapped, and you don't want it to be. So that's how I often have to take off a bead if there is something that's not doing what it should do midstream. Now, I'm getting a little worried that this particular batch has a few too many of those, but let's hope for the best. And now another thing, too, as you're doing these, let me get this out of the frame. If you do notice that you're having a batch that is kind of a problem, and even in general not, I just, for some reason, always pulled the beads down and kind of did this down towards the bottom or down towards the main bead. But if you do it towards the top, if anything's an issue, then it's not actually a big deal, and you only have to do 1 pull through. So live and learn. I'm doing them towards the top now, meaning I'm not pulling the initial. Uh-oh. Let's see what just fell down. I can't see. Something just fell into the garbage can. That's not good. Okay, so what I mean by this is what I was doing, and I don't know why I always did this. Maybe it was just training. And there's, I think, pros and cons, but what I was doing before and in general, so I'd load on my columns, right? Like what I wanted for my fringe column there. So 12 beads, pulled my 1 out, and then I would pull this all the way down, like almost to like meet the other beads and then do it here. But then I'm doing like 2 pull throughs. For some reason I thought that was neater and I was having less problems with tangled wire. That might be true, but I'm feeling like the pros and the cons are a little bit better weighted if I don't do the full pull through. What I mean by that is, this wire's all over the place. That was hilarious. I think my dogs are looking at me like, would you stop with the wire? They're sitting right next to me on this little padded thing so they can look out the front window, which, by the way, if you start hearing barking, that's why I like doing this in the middle of the night, so I don't get distracted. Because if there's anything like another dog who, deigns to walk in front of our house, there's going to have to be a hullabaloo happening. 2 dogs, only one does the hullabalooing, though, but he makes enough noise for both of them. So what I mean now by this is, so it might even be easier, especially because if you do need to pull something off, it's easier if it's at the top, so you don't have to make a big, pull it all the way from the bottom. So what I'm starting to do now is, instead of pulling the initial load of beads all the way down to the bottom, which some of you are probably like, yeah, duh, I'm doing it towards the top and then doing it through now, because then if I do need to pull them off, if there's a problem bead, I don't have to go through them all again. And so that only gives me this little loop to pull on. But here's the deal. I just realized, too, that there's only one pull through then. I can just kind of do it both pulls at the same time, meaning I'm pulling the top and the bottom is moving. So it's just one pull. Yeah, that's easier, huh? Go ahead, live and learn. Like I said, this happens when you kind of teach yourself stuff. So bear with me. And some of you, like I said, probably like, yeah, duh. So right now I have 8. So I'm going to have to do 4 more. I will not require you to watch those. Okay. Now we are done with segments, or I guess units 1 and 2. And I'm actually going to stop the video here so that I don't mess it up and have to chop it in the middle again. So we're going to end this one and this will be part 3A. And we will finish up our center bits in part 3B. See you in a minute.